Good morning and maayong buntag sa tanan. Welcome to our Wednesday's Habi at Kape Media Forum. And we're happy to see our lovely faces here of our guests and media friends. And also our guests will be giving us important information, messages, and inspiring details of what is happening here in the Philippines, especially in Davao City. And we'd like to also acknowledge our partners, Abriza Mall, Habi at Kape, and Marianne Montemayor Led Jacinto, and of course our partners in Minda. And I'm your moderator, Marilyn Roque. And of course, we will be having a lot of questions for you. So I'm sure this is going to be a very beautiful day in spite of there's a weather disturbance. And what we heard today from television stations is that the typhoon Bavi, which was not in our par yesterday, is now inside the Philippines, and it is affecting some parts of the country and maybe Mindanao too. So it's now called Typhoon Inday. So babae na po ang ngalan sa atong typhoon. But anyway, in spite of that, we're having beautiful weather, walay ulan. So we'd like to introduce our guests this morning. We have Engineer Maria Victoria Placer, who will be talking about the Davao Region Coconut Philippine Trade Fair. We also have Mr. Art Milan, the co-chair of the Regional Development Council. And we'd like to introduce Mr. Rizaldy Menor, and he is the founder of Tax Help Philippines. Okay, before that, we'd like to also welcome our media friends, and we will not be introducing you one by one. Please introduce yourself later. If you are going to ask questions, we'll just be calling you. So for the brief opening statements, we'd like to hear from our lady guest, Engineer Maria Victoria Placer, for your opening statement, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, madayaw ug maanyag nga kabuntagon kanatong tanan. So I am Marivic Placer, the Provincial Director of the Department of Trade and Industry, Davao del Sur Provincial Office. At the same time, the coconut focal person of DTI Davao Region.
I see. Thank you. And Mr. Art Milan, he wears a lot of different hats. He's now the co-chair of the RDC.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Art Milan. I'm the co-chair of the Regional Development Council 11, representing the private sector. I'm here today upon the invitation of Iris of Minda to share with you how the Davao region performed in terms of economics in 2025. The figures that we have are very, very encouraging, despite the challenges that we are having and experiencing.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Mr. Art Milan. And we'd like to hear from Mr. Rizaldy Menor.
Ngayon, maayong buntag. I'm Rizaldy Menor. I'm founder of Tax Help in the Philippines. I'm here to talk about the importance of tax payment of taxes as well as tax avoidance for SMEs.
For SMEs. Okay. So I thought for all of us. because parang masakit sa tenga yung pangalan o when we hear about taxes. So we'd like to clarify that it's only for SMEs.
No, actually, ma'am, I am the impression of DTI kasi. So, pardon me if medyo na but actually the taxation is applicable naman for everyone. But most especially SMEs that really badly need subsidies kasi din sa tax. Kaya I hope I will encourage them to do more business po sa Davao. Thank you po.
Okay. So you're not from Davao?
I'm from Manila po, ma'am.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So, welcome to Davao. So the first question, we'll be calling on our first question The first one to ask is Khadija from Mindanao Times.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Khadija Salakop from Mindanao Times. Now, the first question I'd like to ask Miss Placer, sorry, is beyond showcasing products, what opportunities does the trade fair create for coconut farmers and MSMEs after the event concludes?
So we have to take it one step at a time. No, initially, before we launch our products for showcasing them to the trade fairs, we do lots of product design and development and enhancement for all the coconut products that we would want to exhibit. No, and during the fair, of course, we do showcase them in our trade fairs with the different food and non-food products on based only on the coconut products, since we would like to highlight the Coconut Philippines Davao, which we will be conducting by late this July. No, initially we already engaged the assistance and support of Design Center Philippines in developing our food products in their packaging and labeling, and for non-food products in enhancing the products, coconut products that we would want to showcase, not only for Davao Region Trade Fair, but also to the national and international fairs. So for non-food products, we have the wearables and home styles, which we really want to showcase because we want to bring them to Manila fame. And mostly of the coconut products in Davao region being produced and exported are food products and other oleochemicals and coconut oil. So we want to develop more wearables and home styles and non-food products because this is where there is a large opportunity. So after the trade fairs, of course, we do follow-ups of all those buyers that we have matched during the trade fairs. No, there will be B2B to be conducted, no, and other bookings that we will be having with our coconut-based enterprises and cooperatives. So we will do follow-ups on the delivery, no, of their book orders or negotiated and transacted mga businesses during the trade fair.
All right, thank you, Engineer Maria. Now, for my next question, how will the trade fair directly benefit the coconut farmers, especially the holders?
Yeah, of course, it will surely benefit our coconut farmers because the products that we have developed is actually an augmentation to their income. They used to produce only the traditional coconut products like copra, fresh nuts to the processors, but with the different value adding activities that we do, it will augment their income. Not only from copra or from fresh nuts, but also to other non-food products that we have developed. And of course, it will help also our local economies. They will be needing more employment. They will be meeting more buyers. And surely it will help our community and even the locality that they will be known for this kind of products. Of course, in support with all the other DTI programs like One Town, One Product, Shared Service Facility Program, they will be able to enhance or improve the quality of their products and their productivity. So it will surely benefit. No? And so with all the other 15 implementing agencies of the CFIDP, no, the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan, along with the other 15 implementing agencies, because DTI is just one of the implementing agencies. So we really would want to help our MSMEs or coconut cooperatives, coconut-based enterprises in improving their lives of our coconut farmers.
All right, thank you for that answer, Engineer. Now, for my next question is, what innovations or value-added products should the public and buyers expect to see?
Okay, so as what I have said earlier, we want to develop more non-food products. So we are already used to the traditional products, coconut oil, no, the copra, and all the other conventional products that they used to produce. Now we want to develop more gifts, toys, and housewares, no, mga Christmas decors, and even those used for cosmetics, no, because our market now has become more selective, particularly in healthy lifestyle. No? So we also want to develop more products for food like coconut cream and milk, especially most of the population in the ASEAN areas. No, based on our experience when we had our international trade fair in China, 80% of the Chinese population are lactose intolerant. So we have to have alternative for dairy milk for their food and their beverages. So we are currently promoting the coconut cream and coconut milk as alternative for dairy. So they can use those coconut cream and milk for their beverages and other food preparations. So aside from that, there are already large market who want to use vegan-based or plant-based cosmetics and other food products. So there are certain products that we have developed for cosmetics and other food products which are basically plant-based and no longer the animal-based products.
All right, thank you, engineer. Now for my last question po. Do you have a message for the young entrepreneurs who are considering entering the coconut industry?
Yeah, I am encouraging our young entrepreneurs because DTI is also has this young entrepreneurship program. We want to help our coconut industry thrive until many centuries pa, no? Because our coconut industry has been here for centuries, and we want them to also experience the benefits of coconut. Actually, this is one of the challenges that we are doing along with the other implementing agencies, because the younger population now are no longer interested in coconut farming and doing all these other activities, no. But with certain innovations and of course value or education, no, for our young farmers or entrepreneurs, for them to engage into entrepreneurship, because there is also a large opportunity for becoming entrepreneurs. DTI does many trainings and seminars and other interventions for our young entrepreneurs, for them to become the future entrepreneurs that we want, no, that particularly for coconut, because there are many innovations now that we do. Every time we participate to national and international trade fairs, we can see new products being developed, and the owners are generally women, no, women-led enterprises, and youth are also very much involved, because there are many entrepreneurs now in the coconut industry who are engaged, no, in value-adding activities for coconut. So we just have to do more education to our youth to become fully engaged, no, in entrepreneurship, because there are lots of opportunities, particularly in the coconut industry, and value-adding activities for coconut.
Thank you very much, Engineer Maria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yes, we know that the coconut tree has been called the tree of life, because nothing is wasted, nothing is thrown away, and the whole coconut tree is used for something or whatever comes to mind, and especially for earning purposes, for what we know, because there was a time when coconut trees were being felled, were being cut down, because there was not much income and they were just made for lumber.
Yeah.
So, and yes, we have another question. We'd like to remind also our guests, our media friends, that you can also ask questions for ambush interview if you cannot be accommodated. The next one is Hannah.
So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir, ma'am, from Sunstar Davao. So, sir, I would like to ask Sir Rizalde. Sir, so can you explain the BIR tax assessment process in simple terms so that the small business owners would kanang to para makabalo sila, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So the BIR tax assessment process is part of the overall program of the government in collecting taxes. According to the former Commissioner Kim Enares, it's only 2% of the entire activity of the BIR, but it commands the 98% of the revenue generating procedures of the BIR. Now, we should not be afraid with the BIR audit process as long as we know if we were properly prepared the books as well as complied with the tax laws. But we see challenges that some of the businessmen are not aware of what are the particular tax rules that they should observe. So the tax help in the Philippines was established to help the businessman be aware of those circumstances so that comes BIR audit, they will have none problems. We will not have more problems encountered during BIR audits.
Thank you, sir. So my next question is, what is the most common mistakes business owners make when they receive a letter of the authority?
Yes, so thank you for that. The BIR audit starts with what's so-called the letter of authority. It comes from the regional director in accordance with the tax code. So the most common mistake is ignoring the letter of the BIR because once you ignore it and the audit process has undergone a number of period, then the person will have less defense on its audit, resulting to huge penalties and some computations that are just guesstimated. But all these guesstimation are valid primarily because it was basically ignored. So I think that's the most common, to ignore the letter of the BIR. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I would like to ask my last question, sir. What are the rights do taxpayer have during a BIR tax assessment?
Okay, the important thing to remember is that the taxpayer has all the rights of due process as accorded by the Constitution under Article 3, Section 1. No one shall be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process and equal protections of laws. And this due process includes substantive due process and procedural. So meaning, if the taxpayer knows it's his right, so he should not worry on whatever computation the BIR will come up because there will always be a defense on that. And my experience of handling several clients, most of the taxpayers are happy to pay what is necessarily due. Not anything that are excess can be avoided if the audit were properly handled. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, I would like to ask Sir Milan. Sir, so what industries contributed the most to the economic growth?
Okay. The services accounts for 62.1% of the 5.1 percent GRDP of Davao Region. This is followed by industry at 24.7% and agriculture at 13.2%. That's why the promotion of coconut is very vital in trying to improve the performance of the agri sector. We need more contribution from the agriculture, forestry, and fisheries to really balance and create a more equitable growth in Davao Region. By the way, the 5.1% growth is a reduction of last year or the 2024 growth of 6.3%. However, our 5.1% is higher than the average growth of Mindanao, which registered at 4.6%, and national of 4.4%. Davao region is the fourth fastest growing regional economy. It's also the fifth biggest regional economy a 1.14 trillion economy in the country. This is closely followed by Region 10, which is the Northern Mindanao at 1.09 trillion. So we are already a trillion economy in Davao City. So those are the latest figures. And if I may share, what contributed the service sector, no? It's really retail and wholesale and also construction. If you see around, construction is still robust in Davao region. Uh, it's also strong within Mindanao. The major cities are really experiencing robust construction activities. And these are General Santos, aside from Davao, of course, Cagayan de Oro, and Zamboanga. Another driver of growth is actually in the manufacturing, especially in electricity, water, and waste management, and logistics as well. Mindanao, especially Davao, is creating to be the logistics hub of Mindanao.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, I will have my second question. Sir, do the region also face economic challenges?
Definitely.
So what are
Uh,
those?
the first quarter of 2026, I was referring to the stats of 2025. When we started 2026, we faced the energy crisis born about by the Middle East war. And this actually increased the inflation rate from the average of 2% to 7.2% nationally. And in Davao region, our inflation rate from 2.2% uh, skyrocketed to 5%. And this is basically driven by energy, food, and utilities.
Thank you, sir. Sir, for my last question, sir, what programs or projects will help improve the region's economy?
Actually, looking at the trend, Davao region is still lucky to have a very strong private investments coming into, and that's actually prop up the the economy of Davao region. Apart from private investment, OFW remittances also contributed a lot in the past first quarter and last year. You know, last year, the total OFW remittances that passed through the banks accounted for 28 billion US dollars. And this is a very sizable amount. And this actually helped in trying to float the economy because of OFW remittances. And we hope that this will continue, especially that the Middle East war nag-normalize na, no? So we expect that our OFWs will be sending a lot of money to the country. Also, there's an encouragement because you know how much the peso to dollar now? It's closing to 62 pesos per US dollar. So there's more incentive of OFWs to send their money here because it has a bigger value.
Thank
And
you.
this is also causing our export because our export, this is an incentive of selling. But if you buy your raw materials, it's quite very expensive as well. So it's impacting both our local as well as export-oriented products.
Thank you, sir. To ma'am, to engineer placers. What programs does the CFIDP currently offer to the coconut farmers?
As one of the implementing agencies of the CFIDP, actually we are 15 all in all, no? There are 7 programs that are being implemented under the Republic Act number 11524, that is the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund Act, no? And there are 7 major programs and projects that we are implementing. So these are planting and replanting, which is under PCA. And then we have Coco Farm Co-op, which is being handled by CDA. Then we have Livelihood and Enterprise being handled by the Agricultural Training Institute, the Department of Trade and Industry, DA, no, for their Bureau of Animal Industry, the National Dairy in Administration, and then DTI as part of who implements the marketing, research, and promotion. No? So we also have the training, which is under ATI, TESDA, and CHED, no? And research and development under DOST, and infrastructure, which is being handled by PhilMec and DPWH, and the social protection by PCIC, PCA, no, and PhilHealth. So for DTI, under marketing, research, and promotion, yes, we do have lots of promotion activities. One of the major that we do are the conduct of trade fairs, no, product enhancement. We do market business to business market matching, and other market related activities that we would want to promote, no, for the value added coconut products, no. For DTI, we have already mounted different trade fairs. We already participated in the International Trade Expo last May. By the end of July, we'll be having the Davao Region Coconut Trade Fair that is back-to-back with the Davao Region Coconut Cooperative Summit. No? By the third week of July, we'll also be going to Bohol to participate to the Sandugo Trade Fair, no, because we see the lots of opportunities for the selling our different coconut products to the different resorts and pasalubong centers in Bohol. And afterwards, we do the market sensing, no, in that area. Then by August, we'll again be having the Davao, the National Coconut Philippines, no, which will be mounted at Mega Mall. No, that is in celebration of the Coconut Month in August. So come September, we will also be bringing the coconut products to the China ASEAN Expo in Nanning, China, where the Philippines is the country of honor. And we will be for Davao region, we'll be bringing 10 MSMEs, no, and coconut cooperatives to Nanning, China, to showcase their different products out of the 100 MSMEs throughout the country to be brought to Nanning, China as part of the China ASEAN Expo in September. Then by October, we'll also be having the other different trade fairs. We go to Davao, MTE goes to Glorieta, and by December, we'll be having again the Madayao Davao Region Trade Fair, hopefully in Shangri-La, in Mandaluyong. So those are some of the major marketing activities that we do for CFIDP.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. The next question comes from Ace Paglinawan.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am, sir. So I am A. Cyril Paglinawan from Mindanao Times, and my questions will be directed to Mr. Menor. Good morning, sir. So with digital transactions increasing, sir, what tax issues should online sellers be paying attention to?
Okay, so I would like to clarify that taxes on digital is not new. It has been imposed since the very beginning of the tax code, because in the Philippines, whether you receive income illegally or legally, it should be taxed. Now, as to the challenges after the online, first, the challenge is to register. because some of the businessmen on the online are just trying their luck when they do set up, for example,
Yes.
a Shopee account
Yes.
or probably a Lazada account. So they're just trying it, but they are not aware that they are required to do BIR registration. That's one. And then with the emphasis on putting VAT on online marketplace, then they are aware that they should have proper registration for that, whether they can have an exemption or not. Another is the withholding taxes. Because some of them are suppliers of their businesses, they should be aware that there are requirements on withholding tax. And if they fail to withhold the taxes of their supplier, they will be the one liable to pay it. So it will be costly for them if they will not be able to comply properly.
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
sir.
you.
So, for my next question, sir, are today's tax rules keeping pace with digital businesses, influencers, freelancers, and online sellers, or are they creating more confusion po?
I think, as I said, the taxation for online has been there in the beginning. Unfortunately, the online businessmen are not aware that they should do their roles on that. So, Tax Help in the Philippines, to enhance the clarity of this, we're conducting some seminars for free for this businessman. We just want to know the timing of their organization so that we can conduct it for them. So I think the confusion lies because of our natural desire not to pay taxes. That's where the confusion lies. But I think everyone should do their share in paying their taxes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
for my last question, sir, what's the biggest misconception that business owners have about their rights during a tax audit po?
Okay, so in many cases that we have handled in tax help, we have more than 70 cases of audits. I think the misconception is that the only way to settle tax audits is to negotiate. So we're offering an alternative to know the rights to due process that will enable them to defend their books. Because if they cannot defend it properly, they are giving much power to the BIR to just ask an amount of money that is validly to be collected because of the tax code. So importance here is the knowledge of the due process. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
sir. I also have few questions for Mr. Milan. Good morning, sir. So, what industries present the biggest investment opportunities in Davao region over the next year, sir?
I would say agro-processing because the problem with Davao region is actually the low-paying jobs, and the only way that we can increase is to create more quality jobs by encouraging more agro-processing and manufacturing in the region. As you all know that agriculture per se offers a very low paying job. And that's the reason why wala ng mga bata ngayon na gustong magpasok ng agriculture. That's why we need more, pati do you know that we supply 40% of the food supply sa buong bansa? It's Mindanao that supplies it, no? And the more sana if we can create value adding by agro-processing it, i-process muna natin. That's why I was listening intently kanina sa presentation ng Provincial DTI Director natin about yung coconut milk, no? Because may processing yun. Rather than yung ini-export natin na buo na coconut, yung nyog, on the pretext na kailangan nila yung coconut juice. But actually, ginagamit nila yon. Lahat, mura pa yung bili nila, but what they get is, meron na silang coconut husk, meron na silang coconut na shell, which they can reprocess it. So, ito sana yung makita ng mga local investors to go into agri-processing. In fact, we created a group called One Mindanao Business Club na yung advocacy is really to promote agro-processing in Mindanao. Kasi lahat tayo nagpo-produce yung crops natin. In fact, yung crops natin contributed 65.8% ng agri contribution sa economy ng Davao. Tapos some of these are basically yung raw agri crops. Dapat kasi ma-process natin to more value adding para malaki naman yung bayad sa income tax. And at the same time, ma-promote din natin yung mga local kuha natin dito.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Okay,
sorry.
so I also have a question to Engineer Maria Victoria. Good morning, ma'am. So, what is the primary goal of this year's Davao Region Coconut Philippines Trade Fair po?
Okay. For DTI, the primary goal of conducting these different marketing activities is we want to provide a platform for our coconut farmers, market access and trade promotion for all their coconut products, food and non-food, establishing different linkages with the different markets. And of course, we want to develop new products out of coconut. As what I have mentioned earlier, aside from the food products that we have, we want to develop more non-food products. In fact, in my province, we already do many product developments. We have one exporter who produces just coconut chips, coconut husk chips, and they export it to Europe, which will be used for horticulture, in their farming system, which is what they call the soilless medium for growing vegetables, mga lettuce, cherries, tomatoes, and other vegetables. They use the coconut husk chips as the medium. And we also want to develop more gifts, toys, and housewares, Christmas decors, out of coconut fiber, coconut shell, other parts of the coconut, yung mga burlap, mga inflorescence, yung mga twigs that we can use, so that we can provide more jobs to our local community and at the same time develop more enterprises. And of course, the bottom line would always be to generate employment in our local communities, generate revenues for our government, and promote more entrepreneurship in our different communities, particularly in the rural areas.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, for my last question, how are the coconut farmers and industry development plan helping transform the coconut industry beyond the traditional copra production po?
Yeah, as what I have mentioned, there are 15 implementing agencies, implementing the CFIDP, and DTI is just one of them. And on the part of DTI, our task, our mandate is really to do market promotion, market assistance, and research. So as far as DTI is concerned, we really want to have at least 10% increase in the income of our coconut farmers to augment their income aside from coconut farming, but to all other value-added products out of coconut. And of course, improving the lives of our coconut farmers, because when we say traditionally, our farmers would always say, wag nang magnyog because walang pera, mahirap, But with the CFIDP and the different interventions of the different implementing agencies, we really hope that we can alleviate the condition, the current condition of our coconut farmers by converting them just not as a farmer, but converting them to agripreneurs. So that's what we want to call them, mga agripreneurs.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, kaya nagmamahal din ng walis tingting. Okay. Our next question comes from Shane Banson of Davao Today.
Good morning po. Yes, I am Shane Banzan from Davao Today, and I have two questions directed for Mr. Milan. For the first question po, the World Bank has recently classified the Philippines as an upper middle income country. So, what does this imply for our economy in Davao City context and in terms of like the purchasing power of Davaoenos?
Sorry.
Ah.
What's the question again?
Okay
Sorry.
po. Let me repeat the question po. Good morning. The World Bank has recently classified the Philippines as an upper middle income country. What does this imply for our economy in Davao City context? Like, for example, in terms of the purchasing power of Davaoenos.
Well, actually, our per capita income of Davaoenos increase. In terms of value. But in terms of purchasing power, kasi naging 62 na yung, and the inflation rate has really increased. Na-offset din yung increase ng value ng, ng per capita income ng Davaoenos. If you look at the per capita on GRDP alone, each Davaoeno contributed 206,727. This is compared higher by 4.1% compared to 2024 of 196,496. Kasi nga, lumalago yung ekonomiya, tapos i-divide mo yung total population, yun yung per capita. The problem is, tumataas din yung inflation rate natin, no? Especially at the onset of the Middle East war, na bumulusok yung inflation to 7.2% from an average of 2%. Biglang bumulusok, and hopefully this will continue na nagtitaper off na yung nagtitaper off na yung problema natin sa Middle East, and prices of gasoline and other fuels are going down already. Hopefully, hindi na aabot ng 140 per liter yung diesel. So, that was really the highest that contributed to our inflation rate skyrocketed to 7.2%.
Follow-up question po. Is it okay
Yep.
po? Given the surging inflation rate and the Middle East war po, specifically, can I ask in the Davao context, what can you say about the Philippines having been classified recently as an upper middle income economy?
Yeah, that's a good news that we are now, but as I've said, this has to be balanced out with the real purchasing power of the people. Kasi pataas lang siya in terms of value, but in terms of actual purchasing power, bumababa din, no? In fact, our poverty incidence is going up. So, walang saysay yung upper middle income level kung yung poverty incidence naman natin tumataas din.
Okay po. Thank you po. I'd like to ask the same question po for Ma'am Maria Victoria po. What can you say po about the same issue that I have, same question I have posed regarding the Philippines having been classified as an upper middle income country?
Yeah, as mentioned by Mr. Milan earlier, no, but on the balancing, no, the purchasing power over the poverty rate, no, most of the contribution really on the assessment, no, made by World Bank can be attributed to the OFW remittances, no. Earlier, Sir Mr. Milan informed us that large chunk of the income in Davao region comes from the remittances of our OFWs, no. So that is what made the income of the household increase, no, to a high middle income. And aside from that, there's a large percentage on borrowings, no, from financing institutions, basically to operate a business, for them to cope up with their expenses in the homes, sending their children to school, and all the other basic necessities that they require. So those are the two factors, no. But taking it off on the poverty incidence, no, as according to Mr. Milan, it has also raised, no, it has also increased, no. So yun, basically that is part of our assessment na i- ang ang increase on the high middle income is can be attributed to OFW remittances and borrowings, no, from our financing institutions.
Thank you po. Follow-up question po regarding sa sagot niyo po. Could this be a double-edged sword po na large chunk of our economy can be attributed to the OFWs, yet the value of the dollar and the Philippine peso ay mas lumalaki po yung gap?
Yeah, it can be good for the economy because ang exchange rate, no, ang remittances kasi ng OFW are in dollars, no? So pag na-exchange siya sa into peso, it has a larger value for our OFWs. So that's money in circulation, no, in the local economy. The remittances can pump prime our economy, no? Considering yun ang malaking contribution nila. That's money in circulation. It can help improve the quality of life of our people. But on the other hand, you said it's a double-edged sword because it can have an impact on our importers who use imported materials as their raw materials for their products going out also for export. So yun, dapat we should have a balance, no, on that, so that hindi din maapektuhan yung ating importers and exporters whose source of raw materials are from other countries, because it becomes expensive for them, plus the cost of logistics, no, and freight, no, na medyo tumaas na rin because of the cost of fuel. So there should be a balance, no, to be able to ma-strike ang balance natin sa economy.
Okay po. Thank you po so much. And for my second question po, directed for Mr. Milan, since Davao, you have mentioned that Davao is becoming the logistics hub of Mindanao. What is the status of the proposed U.S. military oil depot in Davao region, and how would this possibly affect our local economy if pushed through? And what is your position in this issue as well?
Personally, I'm against it. No, we don't need that depot here in Davao Region for strategic reasons. We don't want to be a party to whatever the U.S. plans for the Asia Pacific region. No, I guess we have enough storage capacity for our energy. In fact, we just had this deliberated in the RDC we normally have about 56 days inventory, which is quite sizable and adequate to address the needs of Davao region. So, yun lang ang masabi ko because dapat kung ano yung i-address natin, yung need natin, hindi yung need ng iba. Okay?
Okay po. Thank you po, sir. I would like to ask the same question po for Engineer Maria po regarding the proposed oil depot in the Davao region.
I think we have already substantial depots here in Davao region, no? And in terms of becoming a logistics hub, it can become an advantage also for us. But according to Mr. Milan, we should address the things that we need, no, not other people's need. Yun lang.
Thank you po so much for answering my queries.
Next question will come from Francine.
Good morning po. I'm Francine from Mindanao Times. I have a few questions for Sir Milan. Inflation has affected many households. So are families beginning to feel economic recovery?
So far, wala pang signs, no? While the prices have stabilized, but it takes some time para makarecover yung family. Okay? Uh, just to give you an idea, in 2023, that's the latest data that we have from PSA, that the poverty incidence of Davao Region is 11%. 11% of the total population of Davao Region, that's the number of families below the poverty line. So that's quite substantial.
Okay. Okay po. So,
The trust really, we are really, kami naman sa RDC, we're really working that our poverty incidence will go single digit. That's really the ultimate goal, between the range of 7 to 8% in the next 2 years, hopefully. While this is a very ambitious target, we are really looking at, kasi in Davao, we are 8.8% as of 2023. But in other areas, it's 29% in Davao Occidental, it's 22% in Davao Oriental. These are the areas na mataas masyado yung poverty incidence.
okay, thank you po. What are the biggest risks that could slow economic growth in 2026?
How's that again?
What are the biggest risks that could slow economic growth in 2026?
You mean worries?
Yung mga risk po.
Risk.
Apo.
Number one, geopolitical. That's the number one. That's the external risk. For internal risk, number one, too much politics, governance, no? Tapos, we need to simplify things. Kausap ko lang yung katabi ko kanina about how we can empower the micro and small or the MSMEs to avail of the BNB. Dapat isimplify natin yung proseso kasi masyadong yung bureaucracy natin masyadong and if we can digitalize application so that mas faster yung pag-process ng mga applications, the better. Private sector is always very cooperative, and ito yung makapagbigay ng confidence once we lessen the bureaucratic red tape, and we can really encourage and empower our micro and small, especially including na yung small and medium businesses para lumago. In fact, we are proposing also na yung business permit renewal should already be anniversary date. Kasi lahat ng renewal ngayon from January 1 to 20. Tapos dumadami, hindi na makaya ng capacity ng Business Bureau to process this. Do you know that there are a lot of missed opportunities, especially for the exporters? Kasi hindi sila makapag-process ng export ko nila pagka wala silang business permit. Kasi sa haba, no, ng pila. You can just imagine seeing sa City Treasurer Office, kadaming tao dyan parati. So, if we can just simplify and digitalize na mas mabilis, online na lang yung payment and even yung business applications na anniversary date, kung kailan ka nag-apply, doon ka pa rin mag-renew. So mas spread out ngayon yung ah, pag-process ng renewal and applying as well.
Uh,
Yeah, I would like to add to that, no, because the Department of Trade and Industry has implemented digitalization in business name registration, no. Ang business name registration kasi is effective for 5 years. So 5 years na ang renewal niyan, and we are now online, no, using our BNRS system, no. So you can apply business name registration anywhere in the world, no? So it's simpler. There's a simple process, no? And we just launched our iRegis, that is the registration, online registration of our shop, service and repair shop accreditation, which is also being under the mandate of DTI, no? And of course, the sales promotion applications for our business establishments. So they are now applications now must be lodged online. We go digital para wala ng face-to-face transaction. So payments for business name registration can be done through GCash, no? Mobile banking, no? Yung mga ganon. So yun, for business establishments, yung sales promotions permit and service and repair shop application, we just launched it this July, no? Going online. And hopefully all the other services na maging digitalized. For BMBE, it has also been online na for years, no? Yung application for that's an incentive program for our micro businesses, no? Those businesses whose capitalization or whose total assets is less than 3 million, no? So almost all of the services of DTI in terms of permits, accreditations, and licenses are now online.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am. So, my next questions for Sir Menor. Sir, what rights do taxpayers often overlook during tax audits or investigations?
What? Sorry again, what?
What rights do
Rights.
taxpayers?
Okay. So, I think yung pinaka na-overlook is yung tinatawag nating rights to protest, Section 228 of the Tax Code. So, sabi dun sa Section 228, if you have a way to protest whatever the computation of the BIR now has the role to explain or justify their findings. But yung connotation of the word protest kasi is negative. But in tax parlance kasi, protest is a right. And kapag nag-undergo tayo ng rights to protest, humahaba yung procedures. And pag mahaba ang procedures kasi natin, nagkakaroon tayo ng more chance to understand why we are being assessed in spite we paid already the taxes. So I think that's the problem, the rights to protest. Kung paano ma-apply ng hindi negative yung dating ng protest. Thank you.
Next question po is, what advice would you give startups that are registering their business for the first time?
Ayun. So, for startups, I think maganda kasi we undergo tax planning. Kasi yan ang na-overlook eh. Basta nag-register ng business, they will be surprised, ay meron palang compliance na ipafile sa BIR or may babayaran pala. And then since they fail to do it, eto na yung mga problems ng penalties na 25% and interest of 12%, nagiging costly tuloy yung pag-undergo ng business. So I think, no, for example, ang isang sole proprietor can be taxed as high as 35%. Pero kung alam sana ng individual na meron palang OPC, it can reduce the taxes from 35 to 20%. O kaya mag-apply sa DTI ng Barangay Micro Business Enterprise, tax exempt. So kung malalaman sana to ng proprietor before siya mag-engage ng business, yung tax planning, then they will be able to handle more efficiently yung mga tax issues. And therefore, more chances ng success ng business nila, at least on the early stages ng kanilang paggawa ng business. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay po. Follow-up question po. Many entrepreneurs say they're more afraid of making tax mistakes than of competition. Why has tax compliance become intimidating for small businesses?
Okay. So, hindi dapat, hindi yan nakakataka-taka, no? It's not surprising. because not everyone is familiar with the concept of taxation na me as a CPA must understand na taxation are both law and accounting. So, confusing siya because it's subject to rules and also subject din sa accounting rules ng debit credit na sinasabi natin, no. So kaya doon nagkakaroon ng confusion. But I think the best way to do it is to hire someone na marunong. At least to guide you at the beginning so that you will not commit the mistake and pay the penalty later for not knowing. So I think yun na lang yung best na gawin natin. Guidance muna at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay po, thank
If
you.
I
you.
may add, if you don't mind, there are 3 powers that we cannot avoid kung nandito tayo sa bansa natin, no? Itong police power, number 1. The second is the eminent domain, the power of eminent domain. And the 3, the power to be taxed. Ito yung tatlong tax powers na hindi natin ma-avoid. However, sana, I'm still hoping, I used to practice being a CPA as well, na maging no contact policy na sana yung taxation. Tapos online, no? But very strict on compliance. Kasi I'm sure that every businessman worth his salt is willing to pay the legitimate taxes. The only thing is, pagka medyo pahirapan na, yun na yun. So, I really don't know. It may be a wishful thinking to have a tax procedure na no contact policy, na you can submit as easy as to comply with it, no? I in fact envy what my partner here is doing, that they are really advocating this awareness on taxation, especially to SMEs, because ito yung, you know, as the former chamber president and the area Mindanao head of PCCI, napagod na ako sa kakasabi na 99.6% of all registered businesses are micro and small and medium enterprises. And yet, we're not really getting any assistance kung ito yung nakakapag, you know, business is the engine of growth and development. Dapat kasi alagaan din ito ng ating gobyerno, itong mga may ng small MSMEs, no? Kasi habang lumalago yung MSMEs, pagka ini-encourage, this will redound to taxes as well. So dapat kasi, the more that dapat maalagaan, we have to simplify. Always, ang sabi ko kasi, ito yung mindset ko, being from the private sector. Lahat ng nagni-negotiate sa gobyerno, dapat ang mindset nila is customer ng gobyerno, yung mga tao, hindi as taxpayer. You know the difference between yung mindset as a taxpayer and a mindset as a customer? Pagka taxpayer kasi, obligado ka magbayad kahit na isang araw, 2 araw ka mag-antay doon kasi taxpayer ka. But kung ang mindset is customer, bigyan ka ng best customer service. Hindi ka paantayin ng matagal para ma-encourage yung mga tao na magbayad ng tama sa gobyerno. So, yun lang yun po.
Okay, thank you po, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We have run out of time, so we leave the next questions for ambush interviews if our panelists can accommodate them. So we'd like to wind up our forum today, but we'd like to invite you once again next Wednesday. Thank you very much for having been with us for the very interesting discussion. And we'd like to ask for your brief closing statements. We'd like to start with Engineer Maria Victoria Placer, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Minda and the media for inviting us today. And I would like to invite everyone, no, our public, to come visit the Davao Region Coconut Philippines Trade Fair, which will be mounted at SM Lanang on July 28 to August 3. That would be July 28 to August 3, back to back with the Davao Region Coconut Cooperative Summit. So come and visit us on July 28 to August 3 in SM Lanang. And I hope we can also you can also visit us during the different trade fairs, no, in the different parts of the country. In Metro Manila, we'll be running the MTE Coconut Philippines Trade Fair in October in Glorieta. The Madayao Davao Region Trade Fair in December in Shangri-La Mall. And of course, all our other CFIDP Coconut Philippines Trade Fair in August in SM Mega Mall in Mandaluyong. And of course, the Mindanao Trade Fair, Mindanao Coconut Philippines Trade Fair in Abriza Mall here, no, in Abriza Mall in September. This will be participated by all all Mindanao regions, no, for the Mindanao Coconut Philippines Trade Fair. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I hope our Christmas trees will be made of coconut.
Hopefully.
this coming December, because actually we're using nylon or
made in China.
those materials that are not really Philippine made. So thank you very much. And now, Mr. Art.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me today. And there's a lot of opportunities for Davao Region. While we have performed well, but there's still a lot to be done in terms of developing Davao Region. We need to balance not only Davao City, but we need to look at Davao Occidental, Oriental, De Oro as well, that they will also grow so that lahat ng Davaoenyo may masaganang kinabukasan. Yan lang po at maraming salamat.
Thank you very much. I hope your suggestion for the renewal of business permits will be taken seriously by our city government. Okay, Mr. Rizaldy Menor.
And thank you for inviting us here. Actually, as part of our advocacy, we set up offices near the BIR. We already have 8 offices. So here in Davao, we have Davao Tax Squad as the name of the entity located in Bolton Extension in front of the Davao region. So in case there will be some questions on taxation, we will be happy to accommodate your questions and also contribute also to Davao goal to expand the economy of Davao by helping the businessman be encouraged to put up business without the fear with the BIR. So thank you po again, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Daghang salamat on behalf of the Mindanao Development Authority, MINDA, and staff here. And of course, our sponsors, Habi at Kape, Mary Ann Montemayor, Shimi Caro, Leda Jacinto, and of course, the staff of Habi at Kape and the staff of MINDA. We'd like to say maayong udto sa tanan until next week. Daghang salamat.